Faze Clan is celebrating. They just went public with their new stock offering. To commemorate the occasion, Faze Clan members rang the opening bell at Nasdaq's market in New York Times Square. For those who aren't aware of what Faze Clan is, Faze is an esports company made up of a ton of influencers, streamers, YouTubers, and top esports players. The clan has garnered a large fan base across the internet and has clout like no other. Faze Clan began way back in 2010 as a group of friends playing Call of Duty, and since then, the brand has morphed into larger rosters of pro esports players competing in top-level tournaments across various games. Previously, they were just YouTubers with a dream. Fast forward a decade later, and Faze is one of the largest esports companies in the world. Millions of eyes tune in to watch YouTube channels and Twitch streams belonging to the Faze Clan members. Today, Faze is the fourth largest esports company in the world with almost 100 clan members. Going public on the Nasdaq is usually difficult, so Faze decided to sidestep the complicated procedures through what is called a SPAC merger. Faze has completed the merger and combined with Riley Prince 150 Merger Corp. This B. Riley Principal 150 Merger Corp company is a blank check company, as in it's blank. There's nothing in the company. It just happens to be a public company, and it's similar to a shell company that is already listed on the Nasdaq. Riley Prince already went through all the complicated regulatory procedures, so by combining with it through the merger, Faze Clan will be able to list their public company on the stock exchange faster. SPACs traditionally have been a very controversial tactic since it avoids plenty of regulatory scrutiny, so a lot of Faze Clan's company information were not checked by the SEC. Faze is backed by a ton of investors, including fabulous rapper Pitbull, NBA superstars like LeBron Bronny James Jr., the son of LeBron James, Ben Simmons, and also an NFL quarterback, Kyler Murray. They also count e-commerce platforms like Network among their investors. Faze Clan went public with the ticker symbol Faze with a valuation of $725 million, making it the most valuable esports company on the planet, which is not so surprising since Forbes previously estimated Faze Clan to be worth over $400 million. The company's valuation is lower than what Faze announced last year, which was $1 billion, but it's wonderful they managed to get their company on the Nasdaq. Faze Clan has a large audience of viewers, which form a combined total of over 500 million fans. This is Faze Clan's biggest selling point. It is one of the largest Gen Z youth brands in the USA, with 80% of its audience ranging from 13 to 34 years old. Gen Z audiences are harder for marketers to target with their ads, so having a brand like Faze, which appeals directly to such audiences, is attractive to advertisers. Faze are known for their esports brands and esports athletes who compete in a wide range of esports tournaments for games like Valorant, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Fortnite, FIFA, PUBG, Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Rocket League, and plenty others. This bodes well for Faze as global esports revenues are expected to grow, be worth billions of dollars in the upcoming years. Faze has partnered with a lot of well-known brands like G Fuel, McDonald's, DC Comics, and has done tons of sponsorship deals. So why did Faze Clan decide to go public and list their company on the Nasdaq? To make money, of course. By going public, Faze gains hundreds of millions of dollars right away, which they can then use to fund their activities and grow their already sprawling empire. So how does Faze Clan as a company make money? The way they make money in the short term won't change much. They still generate revenue through the videos across multiple Faze members' YouTube and Twitch channels. Most of the content is geared towards gaming. Sponsors who want to advertise on channels of Faze Clan members will pay money to have Faze members endorse their products. Faze Clan also makes money by taking championship trophies home, together with a fat paycheck from tournament organizers as their prize. Faze's popularity is very strong, and the company has leveraged the clout of its members to become a highly sought-after fashion and lifestyle brand, which sells Faze-branded clothing and also limited edition apparel made through collaborations with the NFL, Manchester City FC, Lyrical Lemonade, Kappa, Clout, LA Kings, and many other partner brands. Faze Clan's website shows they are partners with a lot of well-known companies, including DoorDash, the popular delivery service, which they have leveraged to launch Faze Subs, a virtual sandwich, ghost kitchen concept. Faze is also partners with McDonald's, Nissan the car company, Totino's Pizza Rolls, and also DraftKings, which became Faze Clan's official sports betting iGaming daily fantasy free-to-play partner. So it's basically a gambling site. Faze also partners with Ghost, a lifestyle brand which sells nutritional drinks, supplements, and clothes. Other partners of Faze include SteelSeries, which makes gamer-related accessories, and Respawn, which makes gamer furniture like gamer chairs. Altogether, Faze makes an estimated $40 million per year. According to Faze Clan's SEC filings, Faze currently does not make much money from the cash winnings that Faze esports gamers get from tournaments. Faze gets the bulk of their cash flow from advertising and brand deals, which account for over 70% of the clan's revenue. Their brand deals alone generate roughly 40% of their money. Faze Clan makes 95% of their money from the USA, while their international audience, which accounts for 50% of their fans, only make up 5% of their revenue. Faze is in good hands as its CEO Lee Trinks has a storied history of taking entertainment companies to the next level. He's cut his teeth at plenty of music labels and was at one point the president of EMI Capitol Music Group, which was composed of Capitol Records, Blue Note Records, Virgin Records, and Astral Work Records. He has helped launch the careers of of stars like Katy Perry, Jared Leto, and has worked with the Rolling Stones, Lenny Kravitz, and Coldplay in their marketing campaigns. After quitting EMI, he went on to manage well-known talents like the Backstreet Boys, Ice Cube, and Kid Rock. Faze Clan is very lucky to have an experienced CEO steering the ship. Honestly, Faze Clan couldn't have chosen a worse time to go public. Stock prices are dropping across the board. Talks of inflation and a looming recession are dampening investor confidence. The New York Times reported the number of IPOs dropped to numbers we haven't seen since the Great Recession of 2009. Wall Street is currently too focused on value stocks to defend against inflation rather than a growth story like Faze. Faze's choice to go public through a SPAC merger is also a liability in the short term, since SPACs have fallen out of favor with the market because of their lackluster performance this year. Faze's balance sheet isn't looking too pretty. Faze Clan actually lost money last year. They may have gained $50 million in revenue in 2021 last year, but they had a net loss of over $37 million. What's worse is Faze expects to lose more money while it maintains its operations for the year. Faze's business model is also under threat because of current inflationary pressures. Advertisers are less likely to spend more on ads and sponsorship deals when people aren't interested in buying stuff. Unfortunately, 70% of Faze Clan's revenue comes from those ads and sponsorship deals. Plenty of companies which rely on ads to grow are in decline. Snapchat's CEO believed their ad sales may decline in the near future because of the coming economic slump. Its revenue was also lower than expected this year. Google's advertising moneymaker YouTube, which was supposed to grow by 7% in the second quarter of the year, according to analyst estimates, grew only by 5%, indicating slower growth. Advertisers are holding back and spending less on ads this year, and that does not bode well for Faze Clan's stock. However, YouTube's Q2 revenues still rose up to $7.3 billion, which was up from $7 billion compared to the same time last year, so the impact should be mild. Faze Clan's nasdaq listing comes with its own set of problems. Faze will come under more public scrutiny. Any errors or lapses in judgment or YouTube drama may be magnified several times over and make investors reluctant to continue holding on to the stock. So streamers who do anti-Semitic slurs need to be cut, and lawsuits have to be either avoided or won by an overwhelming margin. Scandals have to be avoided at all costs now that Faze Clan has more unfavorable publicity to manage. According to their June SEC filing, Faze disclosed that 22% of Faze Clan's revenue came from one content creator, which they did not specify. But this means if any controversies demonetize the channel of that one creator, a fifth of the company's revenues will disappear. Regardless, Faze has set a precedent in the creator economy, and their success will determine the viability and reputation of future creator-focused startups. Their greatest assets are their small army of influencers and esports players, as well as their growing 500 million strong subscriber fan base, which will aid them in their quest to attain the infinite money glitch if they play their cards right. Despite all the turbulence in the stock market, Faze's stock price has been on an upward trajectory. At the making of this video, Faze's stock price is up by 42% since its IPO. Anyone who wants to buy Faze stocks now has to pay $14.20 a share. However, the rise does not seem to be based on fundamentals. Investors can be demanding when they choose which stocks they want to buy, so to sustain the stock's current momentum, Faze has to turn a profit in the near future if it wants the stock to go up. Hopefully, the undisputed leader in gaming can turn their popularity into profitability by leveraging the future of the creator economy and their massive Gen Z audience. Going through their financial statements, Faze's 2021 financials show their esports earnings were around $6 million, while the money Faze makes through their consumer products, basically their merchandise like clothing and stuff with Faze's logos on them, also brought around $6 million. Their biggest earnings, brand sponsorships, made them $25 million, while their content, basically ads and licensing across social media platforms YouTube and Twitch, earned them $16 million. Faze is losing money. We currently do not know why Faze Clan is losing money, but it could be because they're acquiring and signing out lots of new talents to the Faze Clan, or they could have, according to someone from Mogul Mail, lost millions because of that show that wasn't doing well before Faze cancelled it because of COVID. This is pure speculation. We do not know how they are losing money. Some might question how a company which makes $50 million can be worth $1 billion. Well, it isn't. Faze Clan's valuation had to be revised, so it's supposed to be worth $725 million according to SEC filings. $700 million is still a high number, and that is normal. The thing is, stocks trade at several times what they're earning. A stock's price usually has an average price to earnings ratio. For example, a stock with a PE of 20 will trade at 20 times their actual value. Faze at 10 to 20 times their actual value is around $500 million to $1 billion. So their valuation isn't so far off as it seems. The SEC won't just let companies get away with nonsense valuations without repercussions. Faze Clan had to revise their SEC filings regarding their valuation valuation to get the green light for their IPO. The PE, the multiple of a stock's value, is dependent on a lot of factors, but it basically boils down to how much investors are willing to pay for the stock's future growth. Without going into too much specifics or models used, in this way the stock prices in a company's future value by usually taking into account how valuable the company is 4 to 6 years into the future. Investors are buying stocks of Faze Clan, a company which makes only $50 million in revenue currently, because they believe the company will probably make around $725 million in the future. Hopefully, it can be hard to wrap your head around the concept of current stock prices existing based on future earnings. Thankfully, Faze Clan released a presentation showing how much money they expect to make within the next 6 years. The chart revenue is from 2020 to 2025, so it means Faze Clan has to achieve their revenue targets within the next 4 years if you include 2022. The chart shows numbers in terms of millions, so if you see 145, it means $145 million. This chart shows Faze's 2022 revenues at the bottom left and Faze's 2025 revenues on the far right. In between them are these floaty squares that don't look the same because the floaty squares are actually the money expects to add to their base revenue in 2020. And the floaty squares are also color-coded and represent different ways Faze Clan makes money. The red squares means money from content, the black squares means money from brand sponsorships, the gray squares means money from consumer products, their merch store. So let's go through what Faze Clan expects to make in the year 2025. So the red $12 million in 2020 plus the floating red square that says $133 million adds up to $145 million by the end of 2025. However, we will be using 2021 numbers because 2022 is ongoing and 2021 has the most recent complete revenue that will not change anymore. Let's go through what Faze Clan expects to make from each of the different ways they make money. We will be comparing how much Faze Clan is making in 2021 compared to 2025 5 years later. The first one is content. 2021 numbers show content is Faze Clan's second highest earner at $16 million, and they expect their content revenues to grow till $145 million at the end of 2025. That's 9 times what they currently earn in 2021. Faze Clan is signing up new talent, so that's more content. They also have a studio for original film and TV projects. It seems like Faze Clan is planning to get on HBO, Netflix, Apple, Bleacher Report, Nickelodeon, and Spotify based on their presentation through documentaries, music, podcasts, or TV series. Next, we move on to the black square. Brand sponsorships are Faze Clan's bread and butter. This is their current greatest money maker. They made $25 million from this in 2021. They expect to triple it to $98 million, which is quite conservative considering they've already signed up with larger brands like McDonald's. Faze also expects to make $20 million from esports by the end of 2025. Going from $6 million to $20 million is possible as long as they get more top-level esports players onto their roster. A casual observer might see how esports makes the lowest amount of money here, but esports value isn't the money it makes for Faze, but the amount of eyes it brings to them. People like watching amazing gameplay, and esports enhances Faze's brand and helps it gain clout within its Gen Z audience and helps their subscriber counts. It's how Faze Clan managed to get their 500 million strong subscriber base, and this makes it possible to secure brand sponsorships and sell stuff with the Faze brand logo on it. Their consumer products are expected to grow by 7 times to $43 million as well because of Faze's primary affiliation with esports. What worries me are Faze's international revenues. Faze expects to get $68 million from their international audiences. Based on hearsay, Faze makes 5% of their money from their international fanbase, which accounts for 50% of their subscribers. Faze's revenue on 2021 was $53 million, so 5% means they're currently making $3 million from international fans. That's 20 times what they're currently getting, so trying to reach that amount within 5 years will be very difficult. Now, merger and acquisition, this slightly darker grey square, is interesting. Merger and acquisition could mean anything. We currently don't know what this is. Faze is saying they might try to acquire 3 companies, but they haven't decided yet, and it's supposed to be worth $178 million by 2025. So this is interesting. Finally, we come to the final green square, which is in the emerging monetization areas. So that's just Faze Clan using their clout and monetizing their brand by launching shops with the Faze brand attached to it. Barstool Sports and Mr. Beast have launched Ghost Kitchen successfully, and they've paved the way so it's viable to think that Faze Clan can leverage their brand to sell stuff like Faze Sub Sandwich through their DoorDash partnership. Faze already has a partnership with DraftKings, so they are already in gambling, and Faze is also planning to explore other virtual dining concepts, partnerships with game publishers, fan clubs, and food products. They are also releasing a new Totino's pizza roll. Going from $0 to $92 million is tough, but Lee Trinks is a competent CEO, so he'll manage. The year-over-year growth Faze is expecting to have is a little too high. It's expecting the best of the best case scenario. It's going to be very tough to get to that point. Faze Clan's estimated CAGR is horrifying since they are expecting to grow at such a high rate. To be fair, there's no other company to compare Faze to right now. Faze is the only esports team on the nasdaq. There's not enough companies to base any assumptions on just yet. Faze may be bleeding money right now, but their revenues are growing. In 2020, their total revenues were only $37 million, and that number grew to over $53 million in 2021, an impressive increase, even though their net profits were still negative for both years. This might set some alarm bells ringing, but companies which have steady revenue growth despite still losing money are not uncommon at all. Snowflake, a company which offers a cloud computing storage and analytics service, has been losing money for years. However, Snowflake still provides services to companies like Capital One Bank, Western Union, JetBlue, Warner Music Group, Kraft Heinz, and Disney. Warren Buffett himself, one of the greatest investors of all time, who is also known for avoiding tech stocks like the plague, participated in Snowflake's IPO, and to this day, his company, Berkshire Hathaway, owns over $970 million worth of Snowflake stock. Buffett has held Snowflake shares in his Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, even though Snowflake's stock price has dropped by more than half, from $315 to a measly $140 per share since last year. This is because Warren Buffett believes in the future growth of Snowflake, because a company which loses money but has a steady revenue growth will one day become profitable. This applies to Faze Clan stock as well. So as long as Faze manages to make more money than what they spend in the future, Faze's stock price will go up. Now before you go, none of the things I've said in this video is financial advice. I'm not planning to buy any Faze stock. My loyalty lies with Apple stock. I'm buying Apple stock because Apple will always be a better and more profitable company than Faze, and I am an Apple bull. Like and subscribe.